and Vietnam leaders oppose China's maritime actions. Entry into Vietnam suspended, restricted. Firms advised to be cautious when doing business with Indian partners. Alibaba leads $400 million funding in Masan retail firm, first Vietnam investment. Hello and welcome to FBNC News. This is In Chung and those are the headlines of the news today. Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga and Vietnamese Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính affirmed their opposition to China's growing maritime assertiveness during phone talks on Monday, the first between the two leaders since Chính was elected last month.
In their roughly 30-minute call, the two also voiced grave concerns regarding China's implementation of a new law in February that allows its Coast Guard to use weapons against ships it views as intruding into its territory. We want to strengthen ties between Japan and Vietnam in order to realize a free and open Indo-Pacific, Suga said, according to the Japanese Foreign Ministry. The two countries will mark the 50th anniversary in 2023 of the establishment of their diplomatic relations. The phone talks come as China steps up its claim over the Senkaku Islands, a group of East China Sea inlets administered by Japan. Beijing has also militarized outposts in the South China Sea disputed by Vietnam and other neighbors. The talks requested by Vietnam saw Suga and Chính express possible cooperation in sectors such as infrastructure and energy, as well as in the environmental and digital fields. The two leaders also reaffirmed working towards resolving North Korea's past abductions of Japanese nationals, among other issues concerning the country.
Amid complicated developments of the pandemic in the world, Vietnam has decided to temporarily suspend and restrict the entry of foreigners and overseas Vietnamese in order to focus on implementing pandemic prevention and control measures in the country. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lê Thị Thu Hằng said. Hằng made the statement at the regular press conference of the Foreign Ministry held virtually on May 13. In response to questions about whether Vietnam intends to change its entry policy in the time ahead. She noted that earlier Vietnam had also suspended entry of foreigners and only allowed entry of investors, technical experts, highly skilled workers, and business managers on the condition of meeting quarantine and medical requirements. At the same time, the Foreign Ministry is closely following and keeping updated on the pandemic situation in other countries and coordinating with relevant agencies so as to make appropriate decisions on relaxing or tightening entry of each group of people, thus ensuring the double goal of containing the pandemic and recovering economic growth. Regarding Vietnamese citizens living, studying, and working in India, she said Vietnamese representative officers in India have been closely coordinating with relevant agencies of both Vietnam and India to provide support to those citizens. Hằng added that a patient in critical condition among the 8 Vietnamese COVID-19 patients in New Delhi has recovered. She affirmed that the Vietnamese embassy in India is continuing to work with relevant agencies and doctors in Vietnam to maintain contact with the citizens and is ready to help them when necessary. Vietnam plans to set up a 25 trillion dongs or $1.1 billion fund to acquire 150 million COVID-19 vaccine doses for its population, the Ministry of Finance said in a statement on Thursday. The ministry had submitted the plan to the government for approval, it said, adding that the fund will use money mainly from the state budget. After successfully containing the coronavirus for most of last year, Vietnam is battling a new outbreak that is spreading more quickly, infecting 1,677 people since late April, including hundreds of factory workers in northern provinces. Overall, Vietnam has reported more than 5,000 infections since the pandemic began, with 39 deaths. The Finance Ministry said the doses acquired through the fund would be used to vaccinate 75 million people out of Vietnam's population of 98 million. It said the cost of buying vaccines alone would be 21 trillion dong, while the rest of the fund would be for transporting, storing, and injecting doses. Vietnam has inoculated around 1 million people since it launched its vaccination campaign in March. The country has so far received 2.61 million COVID-19 vaccine doses, mostly through the COVAX sharing facility. On Tuesday, the government said it was about to sign a contract to buy 31 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine developed by Pfizer in 2021. Vietnam's northern province of Bắc Giang ordered on Tuesday 4 industrial parks, including 3 that house production facilities of Taiwan's Foxconn, to temporarily shut down due to an outbreak of COVID-19. The industrial parks will be closed until further notice, the Province People's Committee said in a statement. We hope the measure will be in place for just 2 weeks, but it depends on the situation of the outbreak, said Lê Ánh Dương, chairman of Bắc Giang's People's Committee. Foxconn on Tuesday confirmed its operations in the province had been suspended. It added there were minimal impact to its operations in Vietnam. In January, Vietnam awarded a license to a unit of Foxconn to build a $270 million plant to produce laptops and tablets. Foxconn said its other factories in Vietnam are still in operation and will be adjusted at any time in accordance with the government epidemic prevention measures in the future. The Ministry of Industry and Trade has urged firms to be cautious when doing business with companies in India that were severely hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. India is struggling with severe cases of COVID-19 and deaths are increasing every day. Many states have imposed lockdown and social distancing to prevent the spread of the virus, which was negatively affecting the transportation of goods at ports, operations of banks, as well as production and business of firms in India.
A number of major ports, such as Mundra, Nhava Sheva, Chennai, and Kolkata, halved their operations due to a severe shortage of workers. This situation made shipping lines hesitant to transport goods to India, with a fear that they would return with empty containers or store containers at the ports, incurring shortage fees. According to the ministry, many banks in India only operate 2 or 3 days a week, with around 30 to 50% of employees. Working hours were limited from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Banks with positive cases were forced to close for 1 to 2 weeks. Therefore, transactions at banks were very limited. The ministry urged firms to be cautious when doing business with partners in India. Firms should regularly keep contact to maintain the partnership and keep informed about the pandemic development, as well as the India government's prevention measures. Before signing commercial contracts, it was necessary to study regulations, measures, and policies that each locality was applying, the ministry said, urging firms to choose to do business with reputable enterprises. It was also important to anticipate difficulties that might arise and affect customers' clearance and banking transactions in India, the ministry said, adding that firms should negotiate carefully all terms, including delivery, payment, and dispute resolutions. Companies should also ensure thorough shipments. Firms should contact with the ministry's Asia-Africa Market Development for support via telephone number 024-2220-5479 or the Vietnam Trade Office in India via email in@moet.gov.vn. The bilateral trade between Vietnam and India reached $3.3 billion in the first quarter of this year, representing a rise of more than 34% over the same period last year. The two-way trade was set to reach $12 billion this year.
Alibaba Group Holding Limited is leading a $400 million funding in the retail unit of Vietnamese conglomerate Masan Group Corp, marking its first investment in one of Asia's fastest-growing economies.
A consortium comprising Alibaba and Baring Private Equity Asia, is acquiring a 5.5% stake in the GroundX in a deal that will also strengthen Lazada, Alibaba's Southeast Asian e-commerce platform, Masan said in a statement on Tuesday. The GroundX, Vietnam's biggest retail company, was formed through a merger of Vingroup's retail units and high-tech farms with Masan's food and beverage units in 2019. It had a pre-investment valuation of $6.9 billion or $93.5 a share, according to the statement. Parent company Masan will hold 80.2% of the retail unit. The combination of Alibaba's online retail expertise, Lazada's e-commerce platform in Vietnam, and Masan's leading offline network will be a strong catalyst to modernize Vietnam's retail landscape, said Kenny Ho, head of investment of Southeast Asia at Alibaba Group. As part of the transaction, VinCommerce, with its more than 130 supermarkets and 2,900 mini-marts, will be the preferred grocery retailer on Lazada's platform in Vietnam, and its physical stores will become pickup points for online orders. Grocery accounts for 50% of Vietnam's retail market and 25% of consumer spending, but online penetration is still small, Masan said. Lazada competes with Singapore-based internet platform SIS Shopee, which is gaining ground across Southeast Asia. Alibaba's investment is its largest in the region since its $1.1 billion funding in Indonesian e-commerce leader Tokopedia in December 2019, according to Refinitiv data. Sources familiar with the matter said Alibaba is providing the majority of the funding in the latest deal that kicked off in early 2020. Chinese web retailer JD.com and financial sponsors also showed interest to invest in the GroundX, the sources said. Masan also said on Tuesday that it was in advanced talks with other investors for an additional investment of between $300 million to $400 million in the GroundX and expects this to close later this year. The sources said regional retail players and financial investors are likely to emerge as potential buyers in the next investment round.
Foreign Minister Bùi Thanh Sơn and Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Thailand Don Pramudwinai agreed to implement measures to raise bilateral trade to $25 billion soon during their phone talks on May 19.
Don Pramudwinai affirmed that Thailand attaches importance to the enhanced strategic partnership with Vietnam. Sơn, for his part, lauded the efficiency of bilateral collaboration in various areas, adding that Thailand remains Vietnam's largest trade partner in ASEAN and the ninth largest investor despite the pandemic. Both sides consented to closely work to celebrate the 45th anniversary of bilateral diplomatic ties in August 6, continue facilitating the exchange of delegations at all levels, effectively carry out bilateral cooperation mechanisms, including the fourth joint cabinet meeting co-chaired by the two Prime Ministers, the fourth Intercommittee on Bilateral Cooperation at ministerial level, and the eighth political consultation at deputy ministerial level. They agreed to soon sign an action program to realize enhanced strategic partnership for the 2021-2025 period, work closely together to cope with the pandemic and access safe and effective vaccines. Minister Sơn suggested Thailand mitigate trade barriers and share information related to export-import procedures and regulations.
Authorities of the northern province of Ninh Bình has decided to cancel the tourism week Golden Color of Tam Cốc Tràng An due to the complicated development of the COVID-19 pandemic. The tourism week is part of a series of activities during the Visit Vietnam Year 2021. Located in the southern reaches of the Red River Delta, Ninh Bình is known for its wondrous natural scenery with a labyrinth of waterways, mountains and plants, as well as cross-cultural influences from the north to the south and from the mountains to the plants and coastal areas. It is home to 1,821 relic areas, including 81 national relic sites and a World Cultural and Natural Heritage Site. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.